Imagine a world where money vanishes overnight, where millionaires jump from skyscrapers, and where hungry children dig through garbage for food. This isn't fiction. This was America in the 1930s, and it could happen again.
Today's The Grand Narrator mates, we're uncovering the terrifying truth behind the Great Depression, the economic disaster that destroyed lives, reshaped nations, and left scars that still haunt us nearly a century later. This is the story they don't want you to remember, but you'll never forget after watching this. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. The year was 1929. America stood at the peak of prosperity, or so it seemed. Factories hummed, skyscrapers reached ever higher, and ordinary people were getting rich from the stock market. But beneath this glittering surface, trouble was brewing. The economic foundations were rotting away, and soon, the entire world would pay the price. This is the story of the Great Depression, not just as history, but as a warning. Because the forces that created this catastrophe never truly went away. They are still with us today, waiting for the right conditions to strike again. The 1920s, they were not called roaring for nothing. After World War I, America entered a golden age. New technologies like radios, refrigerators, and automobiles were transforming daily life. For the first time, ordinary people could buy stocks on margin, putting down just 10% of the purchase price. But this prosperity was built on dangerous illusions. Factory wages weren't keeping up with production. Farmers were already struggling with debt. Banks were making reckless loans. Stock prices had become completely disconnected from reality. The famous economist Irving Fisher declared in October 1929, "Stock prices have reached what looks like a permanently high plateau." He couldn't have been more wrong. The cracks started showing on October 24th, 1929, Black Thursday. The market opened with heavy selling. By noon, stocks had lost 11% of their value. Bankers pulled money to try to stop the bleeding, but it was like putting a bandage on a hemorrhage. Then came October 29th, Black Tuesday. The market lost another 12% as panicked investors sold everything. The ticker tape machines couldn't keep up. They ran hours behind actual trades. By the end of the day, $30 billion had vanished, about $500 billion today. Many investors were completely wiped out. Some Wall Street workers literally jumped to their deaths. One broker later recalled, "It wasn't just the money. It was watching everything you believed in collapse before your eyes." The stock crash was just the beginning. As people lost confidence, they rushed to withdraw money from banks. But banks didn't keep all deposits on hand. They loaned the money out or invested it. The result was catastrophic. 9,000 banks failed between 1929 and 1933. $7 billion in deposits simply disappeared. Many people lost their life savings overnight. In cities across America, crowds gathered outside banks, banging on locked doors. In Detroit, a woman offered her wedding ring as collateral for $50 to feed her children. The banker turned her away. The statistics are staggering. Unemployment reached 25%, 33% in some cities. Industrial production fell by 47%. Construction dropped 80%. International trade collapsed by 65%. But behind these numbers were real human tragedies. Former businessmen sold apples on street corners. Families lived in shantytowns called Hoovervilles. Children went to school barefoot because shoes were unaffordable. Malnutrition became widespread as food prices paradoxically rose. One teacher in Chicago reported, "I had students who fainted in class from hunger. Their parents were too proud to beg, so the children suffered in silence." Just when things could not seem worse, nature delivered another blow. Years of poor farming practices combined with drought created the Dust Bowl. Gigantic dust storms carried away 480 tons of topsoil per acre, turned day into night, caused dust pneumonia that killed thousands. Farmers who had lost everything packed their families into overloaded cars and headed west. John Steinbeck immortalized their struggle in The Grapes of Wrath, but no novel could fully capture the despair. America's pain became the world's crisis. As United States banks called in foreign loans and trade collapsed, Germany's economy completely collapsed, helping Adolf Hitler rise to power. Britain abandoned the gold standard. Global unemployment soared. The economist John Maynard Keynes warned, "The economic problem of the world is not a crisis of poverty, but a crisis of abundance." There was enough food and goods, the system just could not distribute them. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt took office in 1933, he launched an unprecedented government response, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, to insure bank deposits, the Securities and Exchange Commission to regulate stocks, the Works Progress Administration and Civilian Conservation Corps to create jobs, Social Security to protect the elderly. Did it work? The debate continues today. While conditions improved, full recovery only came with World War II's massive production demands. The Great Depression teaches us that unregulated markets can self-destroy. Government has a role in stabilizing economies. Economic crises can have world-altering political consequences. As we face new economic challenges today, from inequality to climate change, we would do well to remember the hard lessons of the 1930s. Because while history does not repeat, it often rhymes. If you found this deep dive into economic history valuable, do not forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments, do you see parallels between the Great Depression and today's economy? What lessons should we be learning? Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.